Good evening, viewers, and welcome to this informative program brought to you by your police service, the Zimbabwe Republic Police. This is Crime Watch, where we highlight to you our roles and operations. I am your host, Onesisa Sivanda. We start this episode on a sad note as we mourn the passing on of retired Air Chief Marshal Perence Shiri, who was the Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Water, Climate and Rural Resettlement. The Zimbabwe Republic Police joins His Excellency President Iti Mnangagwa and the nation in mourning this gallant son. May his soul rest in eternal peace. As the cases of COVID-19 continue to escalate, the government has tightened measures meant to reduce the spread of the virus. The Zimbabwe Republic Police has also tightened its deployments throughout the country to make sure that the government's provisions are adhered to and are arresting all those who are going against the laid down regulations. Crime Watch was in Hurunga district recently, where the officer commanding police in the district emphasized the need to abide by the given regulations during this tobacco selling season, which is characterized by an influx of farmers who are frequenting Karoi town to sell their produce.
Hurunga district has got an agro-based economy, with the tobacco and maize being the main crops. Currently, we are in the tobacco selling season, and in the wake of the decentralization of tobacco auction floors, we now have auction floors in Karoi, and we have witnessed a huge influx of people coming to Karoi, the majority of them being tobacco farmers who come to sell their tobacco to tobacco auction floors. We also have other people who come to do various business activities. Among them, there are also criminals who will be targeting the tobacco farmers. Considering that the country is still in the COVID-19 pandemic situation, we have had challenges with the people overcrowding in the CBD, and this poses a serious health challenge. We are deploying our officers at the tobacco sales floors so that they ensure that COVID-19 guidelines are observed.
To complement government's efforts in fighting COVID-19 in public and workplaces, security experts have developed innovations that will help enforce World Health Organization COVID-19 regulations.
Today, we're discussing how to keep safe in the COVID era. Apart from protecting your homes and businesses against robberies, as Securico, we have gone beyond in acquiring state-of-the-art equipment that uses artificial intelligence and in line with WHO regulations, the World Health Organization, to keep your places safe from COVID-19. The equipment can do 4 things. The first thing at your premise would be fever detection. The second thing would be mask enforcement. The third thing would be contact tracing. And the fourth thing would be social distance enforcement. Under fever detection, we have gadgets like this one here, which can record temperatures at the gate, at the workplace, and keep a record of the temperatures for all your staff. We also have gadgets like this one here that you can also fit at the main door that will look for your temperature, that will look for whether you're wearing a mask, that will also look for whether you're wearing the mask properly. So if your temperature is high, if you're not wearing a mask, or if you're not wearing it properly, or the quality of the mask is not proper, you won't be allowed access for that day.
Please wear a face mask. Please wear a face mask. Authenticated.
The third thing is compliance with social distance measures at a workplace or at home. This is where the temperature screening equipment can actually measure the distance between everyone at a place and then give a warning if people are getting too close. The fourth thing you can do is contact tracing. We have had CCTV systems traditionally for a long time, but now CCTV systems can be used for contact tracing. If you want to know if somebody tested positive and you want to know where they've been, who they've met, that can be done quickly using CCTV systems. All these solutions will help in reducing the spread of infections across the country. They also helped to quickly detect who is infected and finally be able to do contact tracing and all the people that the infected person met during his working or visits.
We now look at arrests across the country by the police. Cultivation of Daha is one of the prevalent crimes in Magunje area, and police in Magunje recently recovered Daha from 4 different fields during patrol.
We sent our members on patrol, and whilst on patrol, the members got information that the accused persons were plowing Dagwa in the area and Sengwe area. They managed to go to the accused persons' gardens where they recovered 294 plants of Daga and arrested the accused persons. The accused persons were referred to Karoi Magistrate Courts. They were convicted and sentenced to 12 months imprisonment. We now encourage members of the public to supply the police with information that may lead to the arrest of culprits who plow Daga in their gardens.
In a related case, CID Drugs and Narcotics Harare has seized a contraband of Daha. Let us hear more.
As CID Drugs and Narcotics, we have noted that the abuse of illicit drugs, mainly crystal meth, commonly known as Mtoriro, and Daga, commonly known as Mbanje, is on the increase, especially among the youth. Sadly, some of these youth have become addicts. Recently, we arrested 3 accused persons who were dealing in crystal meth. This is a dangerous and highly potent substance that acts as a stimulant but eventually begins to systematically destroy the human body. In Chitungwiza, 2 accused persons who were dealing in Daga were arrested and 2 polythene bags full of loose Daga were seized. The 2 are on remand pending their trial at Harare Magistrate Court. In yet another case in Queenston, detectives identified 1 drug peddler who was supplying Daga to other drug peddlers. The accused person was subsequently arrested and 70 kilograms of Daga was seized from his motor vehicle while he was supplying another peddler. The street value of the seized Daga is $128,000. The 2 accused persons were taken to Harare Magistrate Court and their cases are still pending trial. We thank the public for continuously supplying information pertaining illicit drugs and substances in the country.
On that note, we take a short break. Join us in the second segment. Welcome to the second segment of Crime Watch, as we continue looking at arrests by police across the country. Kutama police intercepted 3 unlawful entry and theft criminals as they tried to ferry their loot to Epworth.
We received information from our informer to the fact that Tatenda Mkwangwariwa was carrying suspected stolen goods and was at Magarajuru business center along Norton in his way to Epworth. We teamed up and we managed to apprehend Tatenda Mkwangwariwa and we recovered a lot of goods. Tatenda Mkwangwariwa led us to the arrest of Herald Kutama and Garikai Mkwangwariwa. And we later recovered a lot of property and we managed to clear 4 cases of unlawful entry. And we later discovered that Tatenda Mkwangwariwa was also a wanted person in connection of case of rape at Kutama, and also was a wanted person at Dawende police area, where he cleared 4 cases, including a case of theft of a motor vehicle.
Mr. Msemwa's house was one of the homes which was ransacked by the criminals and was at Kutama police to identify his property.
Ndonzwa kufara because vanhu vachona mucommunity macho hamugarike kana zvakadai ngoti kana ukaenda kutoilet chaiyo unoona mupa musisina chinhu asi tikange tine mapurisa edu achititarisawo kuti vatenge tabudawo vachitibatsiridza. Aiwa zvinhu zvinofadza chaizvo. Andingangoda kuti kune veruzhinji mukaona zvamusinganzwisise mukati mecommunity, zivisai mapurisa ari pedyo nekukasira kuti tikwanise kubatsirwa because tinoparadzirwa zvinhu chokwadi.
Following this arrest, there has been a drop in numbers of such cases.
I am confident that fear of crime in our policing area is going to be minimal through the arrest of these 3 accused persons. I would like to thank members of the public for continuously and collectively working together with the police.
Meanwhile, Mashonaland West Province Police are worried by the number of highway robbery cases that are occurring in their area of policing, where unsuspecting motorists are being robbed of their vehicles after offering lifts to criminals.
Police in Chinhoyi are investigating several cases of robbery carjacking which are occurring in and around Chinhoyi area. The victims, especially the motoring public, are picking up strangers or passengers at Westgate area who are purporting to be traveling to Chinhoyi. Along the way, they are pouncing on them and robbing them of their motor vehicles, including other valuables. In some of the cases, they have actually stripped them naked and left them stranded. We are appealing to members of the public, especially the motoring public, to avoid offering lifts to strangers as they risk losing their motor vehicles, other valuables, as well as being harmed.
In light of these cases, police in Makonde district has intensified operations to bring these criminals to book.
Makonde district is situated in a transit place that it links the Harare, the Midlands, and the border, that is Chirundi border. So all criminals pass through here. Through the strategies that we crafted, I can assure Makonde district residents that there is nothing to fear. ZRP, as you're forced to reckon with, we are right up against these criminals. I also want to applaud our community, their alertness and having confidence in our police.
In Mutare, police have nabbed Arnold Wu and Amos Nyaira, both aged 30, for a series of robbery and rape cases committed since August last year.
Mwezi yapfuura takaitawo spate of armed robberies dzaisanganisira marepu mukati. Takakwanisa kubata one of the culprits, Trust Matiasha, akakwanisa kuti clear about 31 counts sama armed robberies nemarepu. Anga asingashandi ega Trust Matiasha, anga aina anonzi Amos Nyaire na munyaradzi Arnold Mapani Bubu, avo vakatiza patakakamubata. Semapurisa hatina kupeta maoko, takaramba tichivavhima vaviri ava. Takakwanisa kuvabata vaviri ava. Vakakwanisa kutibatsira kuti tirikavhe property yaisanganisira magasi, mamonaki, magumbezi, maTV. Mukukurukura navo varume ava vanoti vakava vakanoromba kuMozambique. Uko vakanoona ng'anga yavo yakavapa mafuta ari mukagabaka. Mafuta aya vaimatora vakuda kupara mhosva dzavo vozora pasando iyi. Vanoti kwanzi chaiva chivuno chokuti vakazoshandisa sando iyi kurova madhoo, vepamba apa vane vakangogurwa mabvi havatozvinzwi, vanozongoona vanhu vapinda mudzimba. Kana paine vanhu vechikadzi pamavictims ipapo vaibva vavarepa. Kune vechidiki vamwe vanezoitawo pfungwa dzakashata dzokuti pamwe tikanoromba zvinhu zvedu zvinoita zvakanaka tozodidi. Ndinoti aiwa siyanai nazvo. Mishonga iyi kwatiri mapurisa haishandi. Zviri nani uzvishandire nesimba rako uwana mari yako yakachena.
An old adage says, Moswa hairovi, icala galiboli. Police will always hunt down offenders and bring them to book. Please report anyone who's on the run to the nearest police station. We'll take a short break. Join us in the third and final segment. We're in the third and final segment of Crime Watch. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought in a new normal and has seen an increase in the use of the internet. This has resulted in a surge in cybercrime as businesses and social interactions are being done on the internet. Our Crime Watch crew in Bulawayo caught up with the officer in charge CID Commercial Crimes Division Southern Region, Detective Chief Inspector Nyasha Alford, who spoke on these issues and how members of the public can protect themselves.
Today we are with the officer in charge CID Commercial Crimes Division, Detective Chief Inspector Nyasha Alford, where we are discussing on cyber security in this COVID-19 pandemic. So say, if you can please tell us about some of the issues that have come up as a result of COVID-19 outbreak on the cyberspace.
There's been a paradigm shift from the traditional ways to much usage of the internet. So that usage of internet has its own consequences. We have seen a lot of individuals advertising products on social media platforms. What does that tell us as CID? We need to cyber patrol to see what sort of products are being sold to the public, because some of the products that you see being advertised, some of them would have been stolen. So we need to be proactive to patrol effectively and efficiently, so that we also need to look at those products, see the authenticity of the products, look at the person who is selling that product, so that assuming that these products were stolen, then we can investigate.
For now, say, if you can advise us as members of the public on how we can protect ourselves as we transact on social media platforms, or rather online platforms.
I always tell people that you also need to exercise due diligence if you are the customer. Don't just respond to an advert that has been posted on social media without verifying whether that person actually exists, because if there are cases that have to do with identity theft as well on social media. He will put a picture that he has downloaded somewhere or from a legitimate company. And when he has posted that picture as his logo, you should be able to know the company, that company that has been posted on that particular platform, so that you also verify with the company if ever they are selling such products. We have some adverts that they are even posted, like an email. You can actually receive an email. You need to check the authenticity of that email. No bank, I will repeat, no bank will ever ask for verification of PIN numbers or personal information via email. They will call you for an interview at the bank to verify, but they will never send you an email for you to verify something. So those are simple things that I would like to encourage our citizens to understand.
In one of our previous episodes, we carried a story where Bulawayo police busted a syndicate which specialized in the production of fake driver's licenses. The Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe highlights the dangers that the commuting public and other road users are exposed to when being driven by holders of fake driver's licenses.
There has been a very critical burst of a syndicate of people issuing fake driver's licenses in Bulawayo by the Zimbabwe Republic Police. Heads off to that particular burst. But there is more to it. Well, that is on the enforcement side. On the education side, what is the implication? It means that there are quite a number of drivers in courts who have fake driver's licenses. Driving on the road requires that the driver has got the full competence. Shinokana vachikairi vasina malicense. Imi passenger muri kuzviziva here kuti uyu mutyairi anogona kunge aine license yefake. How do you quickly tell as a passenger for your passenger rights? Just study the driving habits of the driver. From the point you bought that vehicle to maybe 10 kilometers or so, it is easy to tell this driver something should be wrong with the way they were licensed, or they are not even licensed to drive that motor vehicle. It is your duty, it is your right as a passenger to inquire about the qualifications of the driver. We also have got what we call unauthorized driving. Unauthorized driving, especially during this COVID period, with very strict lockdown guidelines, the tendency for members of the family, members of a peer group, members of a work place to have someone driving a motor vehicle without the authority of the owner of the vehicle is very high. You can tell that this driver has not been authorized to drive. The driver is licensed but not authorized. How? The driver has got a 60 sense of fear. If I could be caught, I might be caught by the owner of the person. That fear alone means the driving is not going to be assured in terms of safety. You must be on the lookout for those. We also have got underage driving. It is unlicensed as well as underage. The age of the driver does not permit that driver to drive a vehicle. It's not love to give your young brother, young sister, your children to drive a motor vehicle when they have not become of age. We also must warn pedestrians that whichever vehicle you see on the roads, you don't know whether the driver is licensed or not. Because you don't know whether the driver is licensed or not, don't assume that the driver will follow all the rules and regulations given in the highway code. So, tizana upenyu hwako pedestrian. Usabereke motikari uchifamba ukadzibereka iwe uri kuenda kwauri kuenda uboni dziri kubuya. You always face oncoming traffic. Kana iwe madriver acho, kana ukaziva kuti mwe driver ana license asari kudriver, musafire right of way. Never assume that every driver can perform as good as you do. This is what we call defensive driving. It is a high-risk perception. You always suspect that the other road user can be in the wrong. That suspicion is the miracle. It is the instinct that we require in order to prevent preventable road traffic crashes.
Before we come to the end of this week's episode, we would like to highlight people who are on the police wanted list. ZRP Braeside is looking for Tawanda Kaptarambwe, whose last known address is number 3007, 39 Crescent, Glenview 2, Harare, for a case of theft of trust property. Njube Police is looking for Charlotte Sibanda of Tsingai Village, Chief Mukoko Gokwe, and Pegumuzi Ngumalo of house number B268, Njube, Bulawayo. Charlotte is wanted for a case of theft, and Pegumuzi is wanted for contravening the Domestic Violence Act. Anyone with information that may help in the location of those people should contact any nearest police station or get in touch with us on the following details. Our National Complaints Desk number is 0242 703 631. Visit us on our website www.zrp.gov.zw. Link with us on our email feedback@zrp.gov.zw. You can also get in touch through our Twitter handle @PoliceZimbabwe or like us on Facebook, Zimbabwe Republic Police. Be reminded that all Crime Watch episodes are accessible on our YouTube channel, Zimbabwe Republic Police. This brings us to the end of this week's episode. Let us continue following the government's directives to protect ourselves from COVID-19 and prevent its spread. From me, Onesisa Sibanda, and the crew behind the scenes, pleasant viewing, and please stay safe.